Hey y'all, washing out this pot. So I just came back from Lenox Hill Radiology. So I had to have a MRI done on my wrist because I've been having so many problems lately with my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder. And I was told years ago that I had carpal tunnel, but I don't know if it's carpal tunnel because it then moved to my elbow and my shoulders, and it's like sometimes this shoulder will start up, and in the minute the pain goes away on this one, it'll show up on this one. Then there's times where both of my shoulders are hurting to where I honestly can't move my arm up but this much. You know what I'm saying? Like, see how I'm able to do this here? Like this arm, that's as far as it goes because of the pain. So they wanted to get down to it and see what it could be. My doctor thinks that it's probably arthritis. He said because usually arthritis runs in the family. And my mother has arthritis. She's had arthritis for years. For as long as I can remember, she's had arthritis. Her mother, my grandmother, had arthritis. So, but it's crazy because nobody else in my family, as far as I know, I think my younger brother, but I'm not even sure about that. But as far as I know, I'm the only one that possibly could have arthritis out of the kids. And my sister, she has sciatica. She has sciatica. And when that flares up, I guess you can say it's like a form of arthritis in her back, but they just name it something else. But it's basically all the same thing. It's, arthritis in the back, but they call it sciatica or whatever. So she has that, and she's had that for years now. And when it flares up, her back, she calls my mother crying on the phone because she be in so much pain. I don't know how that feels, so I don't know, but I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I know with my arms, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. To not be able to use your arms, nor your hands, or your elbows, is kind of like not having hands at all, not having arms at all, because you can't do anything. My husband had to put my shoes on my feet. He had to tie them up for me. When I went and took a shower, he had to wash me up and everything. I could not do anything. Like, he went to get me some, what he went to get me? I think he went and got me some, he went and made me some coffee, and I couldn't even hold it. It was slipping out of my hand because I couldn't grip it because my fingers was like, they wouldn't close because of the arthritis, I guess, or the pain. It wouldn't close up. So it was like, this is like, if this is my hand, right, this is the furthest I could bend my fingers. That's the furthest I could bend it. And, and then out of nowhere, a day later, I still can't move this arm up, but like this here, but the next day, my hands, everything was okay. And that's what's been going on lately. It's like one day I'm up, the next day I'm down. 2 days I'm up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days I'm down. So it's really been a pain in the neck. And so it just got to the point where I was in a bed for about a week in pain like crazy. I was using my elbows to get up out of the bed because I couldn't use my hands because my fingers and my wrist was hurting so bad. So I had to use my elbows to like push myself, and then my husband would grab, this part of my arm, and he would pull me up so I could stand up. Other than that, I couldn't use my hands or my wrist. I have 2 braces for my wrist that the doctor gave me. The last time I went to the doctor was about 2 weeks ago. He gave me some braces. He said during the day don't wear them, but wear them at night when you go on to bed. This way you don't make a mistake and roll over them. And because, you know, if I don't have a brace on at night, you know, you sleep, you can't help what you're doing in your sleep. So if I was to turn over the wrong way and land on my hand, I could wake up in a whole lot of pain and it can make it worse. So he told me definitely wear it at night. He said I could take it off during the day, but at any point during the day, if my wrist is hurting or if I feel any pain, to put them back on. So right now they're feeling good, so I don't have them on. But y'all, I'm telling you, getting older sucks. It sucks monkey thing. Because like you can't, you know, and what I was saying to my husband last night, I said it's crazy. Like when you're young, you do all of these things. When you're young, you're climbing, you're going on rides, you're doing all of this crazy stuff, jumping jacks and jumping rope and break dancing and, you know, twerking. Twerking and all that. I can't twerk, but I be trying, y'all. I be trying to. I can't do it. I don't know. I can't jiggle this thing. Anyway, I really need somebody. Cause I mean, I be trying. I can't do it. I kid you not. I'm not joking right now. I be trying to. I can't do it. But anyway, with all of the twerking and climbing and running and jumping and all the stuff that we do when we're young, and we don't understand that we don't feel it when we're young because we're young. But all of that stuff that we do when we're young, it's just adding on to the problems we're gonna have. We don't feel it now because we're young and our bones are still young, but we are actually doing damage to our bodies, but we just don't feel it until the bones get older and stuff like that. So I said to my husband, I said, it's crazy how all the things that you did when you were young adds up to you being in pain now. Like, you know, you have a lot of people have knee pain, you know, knee problems, and like I'm going through with the arthritis or whatever, and, you know, back problems and stuff like that. And a lot of that, which my doctor explained to us, a lot of the reasons why we have knee pain and back pain and all that is because of things we did when we was younger, that it sits dormant until you get older, and then it starts, because you're trying to figure out, why am I having this problem? I've never had this before. Why am I having this problem? Why am I having that problem? But it's like, you notice when you was young, you ain't had no problems. You was able to do everything. You was able to eat what you want. You was able to do what you want, jump around as much as you want, and jump off stuff and all this, that, and that. Remember how when we was younger, we was able to dive into the pool? Now we ease ourselves in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it's but I said to my husband, I said, if I would have known back then that the things I did back then was going to lead up to what I'm going through right now, I wouldn't have did it. Just like, you know, when you eat, like all that food you eat, the Chinese food, all that greasy chicken, greasy fries, because, you know, they deep fry the French fries. So all that stuff you eat, and when you're young, it don't bother you because your arteries and everything is still nice and clean. But as time goes on, you get older and older. By the time you're my age, or maybe a little younger, and you go to the doctor, your arteries is clogged up. Yeah, because it takes time for that to work. It takes time for that to happen. You know, so while you're young, your arteries are still nice and clean. But over time, over the days, the months, the years, as you're eating all this crazy stuff, the arteries are steady clogging up little by little by little. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. All right, I'm back. That was my husband calling from work, checking up on me because he knew I had a doctor's appointment. He'd be so worried about me. So I bought 2 cabbages because my husband wanted cabbage. Him and my daughter, they wanted cabbage. So I bought 2 heads. And honestly, y'all, I probably only need 1. But I bought 2. And I got 2 peppers, 1 red, 1 green. And look how pretty that is. I mean, they're both pretty colors, but look at that red, man. Red is my favorite color, y'all. I love red. So, yeah, so anyway, I'm just, I honestly, I just want to get this over with. I want to be able to find out what's going on with me and be able to take care of it, because who wants to be in pain all the time? Nobody got time for that. Oh, I'm gonna have to get some rice. I have plenty of yellow rice, but I know, you know what I could do is I can make yellow rice for everybody else and make white rice for my husband, because my husband, he doesn't really, with cabbage, he doesn't like yellow rice. He likes white rice with cabbage. See, I have all of these bags of yellow rice, but he does not like yellow rice with cabbage. He only likes white rice with cabbage. So I think I'm gonna just make some yellow rice for everybody else, and I'll make some white rice for him. Ooh. Yeah, man. That's what's been going on with me. I haven't made any videos because I've just been so freaking much. I've been so much in pain that I haven't thought about a video. It's like, video what? Like, I haven't thought about it. I haven't wanted to do a video because my mind has been clouded with the fact that white rice. My mind has been clouded with the fact of all the pain that I've been in. And then, I don't know if y'all know, if y'all new to my channel, if y'all are, hey, how you doing? Glad you're here. But if you don't know, my husband and I was in a car accident. Basically, me and my husband it was one night, what it was about, maybe about 12 o'clock at night, and we had went down by the bridge, by the water, and we was out there for a good while, and then, you know, we started getting tired, so we was like, you know, let's make our way back home. So we was on the bike. So for those of you who don't know, my husband has a three-wheeler. It's called a Spider. He had a Ryker, and then he got rid of his Ryker and got the Spider, which the Spider is a bigger bike. It's a you know, it's made for two people. His Ryker was made for one person, but you can ride a person on the bike. And he adjusted the bike and he did modifications to the bike so that I would be able to ride with him all the time. He put a back seat on it, and he did a lot of other stuff to it to make it comfortable for me. But at the end of the day, it still wasn't very comfortable on my butt. And so he finally decided, he said, babe, I'm just not happy. If you're not happy, you're not comfortable on the bike, and it's hard for me to enjoy the ride when I know that you're behind me uncomfortable. So, because we was gonna wait, we was gonna wait to get the Ryker, the Spider, but him seeing me so uncomfortable, because like we would ride on the bike, but after like 45 minutes or so, I was like, my butt used to be hurting on them bikes. On that bike. And, you know, when we go for rides, we used to go for really long rides. So he finally just decided to get the Spider. Because the reason why we was going to wait, because the Spider is $30,000. And his Ryker was only 10 or 12. But the thing is, the Ryker was only made for one person. And he used to always want me to go riding with him. And I'm like, I did it for a while. For 2 years that he had that, because he had his Ryker for 2 years. For 2 years, I made myself uncomfortable because I wanted to make him happy. I wanted to ride with him because that's what he wanted. He was like, babe, I want you to ride with me, especially when, he calls me, which I am, his ride or die. So it's like when he can't find anybody to ride with, like when his friends that have bikes, when they aren't riding or if they doing stuff, other things, he always say, come on, babe, let's go for a ride. And even when it's not about his friends, there's times where he'd be like, babe, you want to go riding tomorrow? Because he'd be like, I don't want to be home. I want to be with you, but I want to ride on the bike. And even though I know my behind going to be hurting, but I'd be like, all right, we could do that. But there's times where I was riding with him and my butt was killing me. And I didn't tell him, but he knew it because he could feel me behind and kept moving. I kept like trying to, switch the way I was sitting and move over and all kinds of, he can see me doing all this moving behind me. And he said it used to bother him so much because he said he knew I didn't say anything because I didn't want him to be upset. But he finally just said, nope, we got to get the bike because we got to switch it up. So he had his bike now he had it for 4 months, his Spider. He's had it for 4 months now. And we just happened to be coming from the bridge, having a good time, nice time, having couples time. We went for a ride. We stopped by the water. We stood there looking out at the water. You have thoughts and you start thinking of things you want to do, how you want to live the rest of your life, plans you want to make, trips you want to go on. And, we love to do that. We love to think by the water. And when we decided to have kids, we decided by the water. We were sitting by the water and we decided to have kids. When we bought our house, the first house I bought, or we bought, when we decided to buy a house, we was at the water when we made that decision. When he decided that he was going to get his Spider and trade his Racket in, we was by the water. And he was like, well, I can't do it no more. I can't see you suffering on the back of my bike anymore. So that's what he did. But anyway, I didn't drug this out, but long story short, we was on the bike, because it was just me and him. And we sitting at a red light, and while we're sitting at the red light, we're listening to, I think we listened to the Stylistics, the Shy-Lights or the Stylistics, one of them. So we sitting there at the red light. It was a car on the side of us, and everybody, we all sitting there, and we're waiting for the light to change. The light was red. Next thing I know, all we felt was boom. And I just heard my husband go, what the fuck? And he turned around. I was all bent over because that shit really hurt my back. I was bent over. My husband hurt his back. And the guy gets out the car. And my husband jumps off the bike. And his back was hurting. I was leaning over the bike like this because my back was killing me. And my husband got out and he started arguing with the guy, and the guy was telling him sorry. So my husband was like, I need your information. He was like, the guy gonna tell my husband for what? We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. I'm sorry. So my husband told him, I don't give a damn about your sorry. My wife is over there bent up. My back is hurting. Where is your information? So he refused to give my husband his information. So my husband called the cops. And the cops came. And when the cops came, they asked me, do I need an ambulance? And I said, yeah, because my back was killing me. And I didn't know, what kind of damage, because he hit us real hard. So I'm thinking, honestly, that he was driving down the street and he probably assumed that the light was going to change just in enough time to, for him to get to to the, because we was at, me and my husband, we was the first ones at the corner of the stop. We was the first. So he probably thought that because we was on red, that by the time he got that close, it would be turned green. So he probably just kept going. Either that, or he was on his phone looking down, or if not that, then he fell asleep. Either way, he had to be going fast because he hit us hard. Hence the reason why my husband's bike, as of right now, has been in the shop for about 3 weeks. Because he needed so much stuff done to fix the problems with it. He almost chose to just go and just get a whole new bike, a brand new bike. Because, you know, a lot of times they said if your car get hit, it's going to keep getting hit. You know, if you was in an accident, you're going to keep being in an accident with a vehicle. If you get into an accident with your vehicle, that's like a bad omen, a bad luck, that you're going to keep getting into accidents. So he almost chose to just get a whole new bike because he's fully covered, you know. His bike is fully insured. So he was really thinking about just going and getting a new bike. But he was like, he said he want to see first, you know, the damage. And whatever damage, their insurance, the guy's insurance is going to have to pay for it. But he said he want to see first, because if it's not too bad, then he'll keep it. But if it's something significant where he more than likely is going to have problems down the line, like if, you know, he has engine problems or something like that, he said he's not keeping it. But other than that, he said he's just going to see. But since then, my husband's been having problems with his back. So he saw a doctor. They took him, they sent him to get an MRI and all of that. They said that his spine is not aligned with the rest of his, I don't know how, I can't say it the way he said, the doctor said it, but his spine is not aligned the way it's supposed to be because of the hit. So this is why my husband is having back pains all the time. This is why he wakes up in the middle of the night, sometimes throughout the day. He wakes up with really, really, really bad headaches. They just come on. And he be at work driving, and he'll just get really, 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 really bad headaches to where he has to pull over. So the doctor told him that he's gonna need surgery. He said if he doesn't want to do it now, he doesn't have to. He said, but eventually you're gonna have to have surgery. So my husband was really upset about that, because he said that's the last thing that he wanted to hear, was that he's gonna need surgery. He said, and the doctor told him that he can't avoid it. He said he's gonna have to have surgery. But he said, if you don't want to have it now, you don't have to, because it's his choice of when he want to go and have it. He said, but you're gonna have to have surgery. That's just not, there's no question about that. He has to have surgery. So I guess when the guy hit us, because of the impact, it caused his spine to shift or something. I don't know. So now he has to have surgery down the line. He don't want to have surgery, because that's because he keeps saying, man, I'm not having surgery. I said, yeah, but what you gonna do when it gets really bad? You know, and you can't stand up straight. You know how now you see people when they're old and they be walking down the street and they walk and they bent over like that. I told him, I said, you gonna be in a situation like that? You told me you don't want, nobody wants to have surgery. Shoot. But I done had a few throughout my life. I got a plate and screws in my left ankle. I've had gastric sleeve twice, because the first time when they did it, I forgot how they put it, but when they did it the first time, something they didn't do right, so they had to go back in and they had to take more of my stomach. So I done had 2 gastric sleeves, and you know, I done had 2 sinuplasties, and my nose is still jacked up. Now I had 2 sinuplasties, and I've had my gallbladder removed. Let me see what else. Yeah, I had my gallbladder removed. I had 2 gastric sleeves. I have a plate currently in my ankle, my left ankle, and I thought they was going to be able to take the plate out of my ankle once it mended, but the doctor said there's no bone there. It's like when I broke my ankle, it like separated. He said there's this much gap between my foot and my leg, right? That part of the ankle where it connects your foot to your leg, yeah, there's this much space there. So it's not connecting at all. It's this much space in between them. So he had to put a plate like this here and put it over to connect my foot to my leg. So I asked him about it mending. He said that will never mend. It's shattered. When I broke my ankle, the bone shattered. That part of my bone shattered. So there's nothing connecting my foot to my leg except for the plate that I have in it. So I asked the doctor, can the plate be removed? He asked me, do I ever want to walk again? And I said, yeah. He said, then the plate can't be removed. He said, because the plate is the only thing holding your foot to your leg. I was like, wow. That happened in 2000 or 2001. So I've had this plate for a long time, a lot of years. And yeah, I've had surgeries. Ugh. And then I had a breast reduction, because as you can see, these things are little. They're little. They used to be a lot bigger than that. But I used to have a lot of issues with my back because of my breasts being too big. A lot of people, it's like they don't seem big to me, but for me they was too big. It was too big, and it was causing me problems. I had shoulder prints. There's dark right here in my shoulder where my bra used to pull down on my shoulder and leave dark marks and stuff like that. I used to have pains in my neck all the time. My husband used to massage my neck all the time because the breast was weighing down. Man. Then I used to get like little sharp pains in my breast every so often, And the doctor said that's because of all of the pulling that's going on. My breast pulling down is causing me to have problems. And that could be what contributed to the pain in my shoulders also, all the pulling down. Plus my arms are big, so that, from me losing the weight, all the weight that I had on my arm could have contributed to the fact that my shoulders and stuff is acting up now. I don't know. It could be all of those things, not just one particular thing. It could be everything. But I just wanted to come on here and let y'all know, because I did a video earlier letting y'all know about, well, y'all seeing it now, but let y'all know that I had to go have an MRI and stuff like that. So this is just me coming back, just informing y'all of what happened. I won't get the results back. The doctor's going to get them back in about 5 days. So once I go back to see him. He'll explain to me exactly what they found or whatever, and how we can move on from there. But I still have to have an MRI of my elbow. And he said this here, he think the elbow, the problems I'm having with my elbow right here, he think it's tendonitis. So arthritis in the wrists, arthritis in the fingers, tendonitis right here in the elbow, and arthritis in the shoulders. This is what he says he believes is going on. So I still have to have an MRI of my shoulders. I have to have an MRI of this elbow on the right hand. I have to have a MRI of my right wrist, and an MRI on both hands for the fingers. So I'm gonna have to go back at least 4 times. I know I gotta go, tomorrow's the 26th. I have to go tomorrow. I have to go on the 27th. I have to go on the 29th, and I have to go on September 2nd for MRI. They said they couldn't do it all in one day because it's each part that is being, done is a separate order. And they have to do it because each time I go have an MRI, it's going to take about 45 minutes. And she said, by law, they're not allowed to have you in that machine for that long. Because can you imagine, if I have to do 45 minutes for my wrist, 45 minutes for my elbow, 45 minutes for my shoulder, and then got to do this side after this side. So that's 45 minutes for each part of me, then 45 minutes for each part on this side. So if you add all of that up, I can't be in that machine for that many, hours. That's crazy. So she said that, they said that they're legally not allowed to be in there no longer than 45 minutes. Because it's all those chemicals, those rays and stuff like that, and you wind up with all kinds of stuff running through you. I'm thinking about, honestly, calling the doctor and asking him to postpone the MRIs, at least spread them out like a week apart, not back to back. I don't want to have them back to back. Because, all them rays going through, you don't know what kind of issues you can wind up having down the line because of all of that. Yesterday I was calling them gamma rays. My husband said, what do you think, this is the Hulk? I was like, I don't mean gamma ray. He know what I meant. Have y'all checked out the video that my husband and I did with the adult card game? I would really like to know what y'all think, because I want to get some more of the adult games. They don't all have to be about sex. Honestly, I didn't know what that game was going to be about. It just said adult, so I knew it wasn't for kids. But just because it says adult doesn't mean it's going to be X-rated. You know what I'm saying? So I bought it because it says after dark adult conversation. So that could be relationships and, it could be anything. But I didn't think it was going to go in the direction it went in. But it was still fun at the same time. But we're all grown. Ain't no babies here. We all done, we done all had sex. We done all had babies. We done been there, done that. So, and like I said, it's adult. So, but I would really be curious to know what y'all think of the game and would y'all buy it for your own household. I think it's really fun. I think it's a way to spruce up your relationship if you're having problems. Because in a lot of relationships, a lot of relationships could be solved just by having more fun with each other. A lot of relationships get dull, get stale because people forget how to fall in love you know? And it's like, what was it about this person that made you fall in love with them from the very beginning? At one point in time, you fell for this person so hard that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with this person. So you have to figure out, what is it about that person back then that made you want to spend the rest of your life with her or him? And then apply that to what you got going on now. And you could probably get back the spark that you once had. But to me, it's like people just, they get older, they get comfortable, and then they don't even want to try no more. They're just living. Basically, they become roommates. Me and my husband is not like that. We like to do things together. We like going away. We like being romantic. We like having fun. We like doing stupid stuff. We have pillow fights in the room, me and him. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there and just hit him with a pillow, and then that'll just start it up, and we just be in there pillow fighting. And sometimes we'll just sit in there and we'll have grown-up conversations. We'll have the little dirty conversations and stuff like that. And he tell me, I love to see you blush. It's for him, it's a turn on when he see me blush and stuff. And it's just it's a lot of stuff that we still do, and people be asking us, how y'all stay happy all the time? Y'all, I don't never see y'all unhappy. Y'all always smiling, because we're always doing something. If we're in the house, we're doing something. If we're out in the street, we're doing something. My husband loved motorcycles. He when I met him, he was riding bikes. That's what he into. So you have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to get involved. You got to love what your husband loves. Your husband has to love what his wife loves, because that's the only way it's gonna work. But that's if you want it to work, because I honestly love riding with my husband. I love it. I love it. I'm so upset right now that the bike is in the shop, because we ain't been able to ride on it. But we'll go on some rides. We love doing things. Like we go, we did this toy. We did Santa Claus. We dressed up as Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus 2 Christmases straight, and gave toys to all the kids in the family. And this year we're supposed to be joining a parade. I don't know if it's a Halloween parade in Harlem, where everybody's going to be either on their bikes, their motorcycles, their 3-wheelers, their slingshots, their T-Rexes. Everybody's going to be on their bikes, and they're supposed to be dressed up for Halloween. Like, everybody's going to have on a costume. It's going to be like a Halloween parade of costumes. There's already a guy, a friend of my husband. He's always riding around in a Mario outfit, a Mario and Luigi, and he actually got the head. So me and my husband, we bought a baby girl and a baby boy costume, because when my daughter had my grandson, she wanted to do a gender reveal. So we bought a little boy and a little girl, and they was at the gender reveal. My husband had on the little boy, and I had my niece have on the little girl outfit, because I had to tend to the guests and all of that, so I couldn't do it. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wear those costumes for the parade in October. Got to get them out of storage, because we put them in storage. But yeah, we're gonna do that along with everybody else. Go to Harlem and do that. That's gonna be fun for us. I'm looking forward to it, actually. And they're gonna be, and then on Christmas we supposed to be doing that. I don't know if y'all know, it's a Christmas con that goes on every year in Manhattan. Everybody dresses up like the Grinch or elves or reindeer, or they dress up as Mr. and Mrs. Claus, you know, or the Grinch, and they flood the streets of Manhattan. They actually close, the cops and stuff actually close off the streets for that day. So my husband and myself, we're gonna go dressed up because we already have our costumes. We're gonna go out there as Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and you know, all the bars, they give free drinks to all the Santa Clauses and stuff. So we're gonna be out there all day having fun, enjoying ourselves, making memories. And you know, this is something also that my kids can look back on with my grandkids when they get up in age, and they can say, look at your grandmother and grandfather. Like, they really had fun. Like, they got involved with stuff. They did things. They wasn't your average grandparents just sitting around the house, sleeping on the couch. They was up and out. They went to parties. They was on motorcycles with motorcycle bikers, and they were doing things for Halloween. They was doing things on Christmas. They was dressing up in baby costumes and Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus costumes. Yo, grandparents was some fun people. And that's how I want my grandkids to remember me, as being, well, remember me and my husband when that time comes, as fun grandparents. Like, I want them to look at us and be like, our grandparents was like no other, you know? Anyway, that's what I got going on. But yeah, life has been life, y'all, and I've just been dealing with the pain of everything. Because I'm going to tell you, arthritis ain't, if this is, God forbid, because I don't want it, I'm not claiming it, but I'm just saying, if this is what it is, oh my gosh, because it makes you feel like your arms and stuff is broke, because that's what I feel like when it starts coming on, when it starts acting up. I literally feel like somebody took a sledgehammer and just banged it on my shoulder and broke it. And that's what it feels like. It feels like it's broke. It don't feel sprained. It feels broke. Like, I literally can't move my hands. I can't lift up my shoulder. I can't pick up anything. It's not good. I'm praying to God that, you know what I'm hoping that it could be, that's very fixable. I'm hoping that it's just a pinched nerve. That I have a pinched nerve in my arm that's causing all of this. Because I remember when, and I'm about to get off in a minute, y'all, because I've been talking for a little bit. But I remember when I was pregnant with my first son, and I could not move my leg for nothing in the world. I didn't know what was going on. My husband, if I wanted to get up out of the bed to go to the bathroom, he literally had to take my thigh and move it to the edge of the bed slowly, and then help me, put his arm around my waist and then lift me up for me to go to the bathroom. And then he would have to wait outside the bathroom for me to finish so he can help me to the bed, because moving my leg to walk hurt so much. Like, just to try to lift it, it hurted so much. So he always had to, anywhere I went, if I went to the bathroom, if I went to the kitchen to get water, a lot of times he would just get me water or get me milk or get me orange juice so I wouldn't have to do that. But if I had to get up, he literally had to help me. And when he went to work, my sister and my mother lived upstairs from me, because it was a 3-family house and we was the 3 families. And before my husband would go to work, he would tell my mother, all right, I'm about to go to work. I'm going to need y'all to go downstairs and check on me. And so, I had round the clock help, you know what I'm saying? But when we finally get to the doctor, about my pain, the doctor said that the baby, which is my son, was sitting on a nerve in my leg. That's because they had to give me an x-ray. He was sitting on a nerve in my leg that was causing the issue. So, and I asked him, what can we do? He said, you're going to have to wait until he moves out of that position. I was like, oh, man. But he finally moved. He finally moved out of that position. It took about, from the time I went to the doctor, it took maybe about 3 weeks. And then he moved out of that position. When I tell you the relief that I had when he finally moved out of that position, oh my gosh. And he never got back in that position either after that. But man, that was some painful, boy, to be pregnant and be in that much pain to where you can't move your legs. And my husband had to move my leg over, so he had to really take his time and move my leg over slowly, because if he moved it too fast, I was screaming. But anyway, so I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping it's just a nerve. It's a nerve that, it's a, some kind of nerve issue, but it's not that bad where, they can take care of it. It's nothing. Because last thing I want is arthritis, because that's just an ongoing situation. I don't want to have to deal with that. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go. I'm going to finish this up. Finish cutting this stuff up and get this stuff going.